is Jennifer with iCadenza, and I'm here with Regulo Martinez, Juan J, Colomer, Israel Lozano, and Manuel Lopez. And a bunch of you were just part of a great recording project of your piece, with Israel singing and Regulo playing the piano. So please tell me about this beautiful piece and what you're recording it for.
I'm recording it to have a sense of what the rest of this piece is taking, and also try to find some places to be interested in the music, because it's an opera, so then it's not easy to produce opera these days. And this is the main reason that we are recording this, is just to find art of it.
Now tell us a little bit about the character of this song, this aria that you just sang.
Hello Jennifer, hello iCadenza. I just say hello to everyone. We had the other day a beautiful interview, so I'm just here again with you. This is the opera Don Quijote, a very universal novel book from Miguel de Saavedra Cervantes, and this is a very special character that Maestro Colomer wrote, and obviously for me as a tenor is a great honor that he's inviting me to do this demo, and very, very important responsibility. And it's very interesting because Don Quijote de la Mancha, he's from Spain. The Maestro Regulo Martinez, excellent pianist that we recorded a piece. He's from Spain, from Madrid.
I'm from Valencia.
He's from Valencia, still Spain. Still Spain. I'm from Madrid. Actually, I'm from Carabanchel. It's one area of one neighborhood from Madrid. And we have here Maestro Manuel Lopez, who actually these days has been working just across the street in the Walt Disney Concert Hall, conducting beautiful music. So right now, actually, Jennifer, we are in the geographic middle downtown of the music center, the Colburn School, the Walt Disney Auditoriums, and this is actually where the kitchen is about music, right?
That's right. This is the Cultural Center of Los Angeles. Disney Hall is right over there. And it's so wonderful to be here with all different types of artists, from conductor, tenor,
from Venezuela, from Caracas.
I'm a pianist. And so Manuel, as a conductor from Venezuela, what's it like seeing Gustavo Dudamel taking the world stage and really rising? It seems like Venezuela is really producing a lot of great musicians.
He works very close with Maestro Dudamel. We met in Caracas.
We met in Caracas. I was assisting him in La Traviata when I met to Israel.
I San Alfredo in La Traviata with Maestro Dudamel.
So this is a great opportunity for me. I'm 1 month here. I had 1 month here conducting 5 concerts with the LA Fair. Some of them are youth concerts for families and youth people. Some of them are neighborhood concerts. I had the opportunity to assist them to Gustavo 2 weeks, and the last week I had the great honor to assist to Maestro Charles Dutoit with the Berlioz Romeo and Juliet. It's a huge experience, I learned a lot.
What is the repertoire that you were playing, may I ask, a few weeks ago?
My first concert was the Beethoven 7th Symphony, 3 Rossini overtures, 2 Rossini overtures, the La Gazza Ladra and Semiramide, and 1 piece of a Mexican composer. It was Huapango by Moncayo, very excellent composer, Mexican composer. Then I have 3 concerts youth concert that it was a piano repertoire. Yeah, it were 3 concerts. The subject of the concert was the piano, so we played excerpts by the Rachmaninoff Piano Concert No. 2, the Left Hands Piano Concert by Ravel, the Beethoven No. 4 that I had the honor also to conduct to Emmanuelax. So it was fun, you know?
It was a fun concert.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, and talking about Mexican composer, the Spanish music is becoming very popular, especially in Los Angeles, especially after this great success of Il Postino, with Maestro Daniel Catan. We say hello from here. He's one day that, and now the new.
You're gonna sing Postino now.
And I'm gonna sing Postino in Vienna. Yeah, in a few weeks actually next week I go to Vienna to sing.
Now, how do you find that the Spanish language suits operatic music, or your voice in this type of repertoire?
Professional question for you.
For both of you.
Well, I think the Spanish language is one of my favorite to hear. For instance, it's one of the questions about writing an operetta, what language do you do it? I particularly don't like it in English as much. I think Spanish is way more musical. One thing that I like about the Quijote is like the text is in slightly all the Spanish. So it's not as direct as having that the Spanish is just in your face. It adds a little dimension that is not so in your face. So I think this last is all the Spanish is very, very well fitted to the context of this.
Yeah. As an opera singer, as a tenor, we are talking about the bel canto technical approach. The bel canto is based in the vowels, so you have to sing in vowel. So languages like from the Latin, the French, Portuguese even, but the French, Spanish, Italian, and actually, even in Russian, it's a very good language to sing with. And I agree actually with Maestro Colomer that English is one of the most hardest languages to sing because it has so many consonants, so many vowels with different phonetic inflections, and it's difficult for a singer when you need to project and cut the orchestra because we usually sing without microphone. So, but it's wonderful for me. Hopefully, yes. Well, if we're singing for 5,000 people or 20,000 people, you need to amplify the sound. But for me, it's wonderful. It's wonderful to sing in my mother language, native language. So it's very nice.
And so, for many of you, you are based in Los Angeles now, even though from Spain now in Los Angeles. How do you find the musical culture to be different here?
Well, it was very interesting. Like, I remember 2 or 3 weeks ago when I first met Israel in the opera. I was going to the rehearsals and then we met and like, where are you from? It's Madrid. Well, so am I. So I very often have had the interesting experience of meeting people from my home country outside. I meet them more outside than when I'm actually in Spain. And we also have, now as we were talking before the interview, we were like all of us actually in Caracas at the same time last year for a festival that was there, an encounter between Spain and Venezuela. So it's very, very interesting how you can meet people of your city or of the city where you live in a completely different environment just because of a musical project, and that happens a lot.
Coming from Spain, did you find the musical culture in Venezuela to be different, even though the language is the same?
Oh, it's fascinating. What's happening in Venezuela right now is absolutely fascinating. There's nothing like that in the world right now. The type of social and musical project that's happening there is absolutely... I think every musician should get to see it. And actually seeing it there is different than hearing about what is going on. But I'm sure he can tell you much more about that than I can.
Actually, the phenomenon of Venezuela reminds me a little bit. There is a part in Spain, which is Valencia. We have this culture of every little village has like at least 1 symphony or 2 symphony, wind orchestras, wind ensembles. And there is pretty similar
that is actually
Venezuela in a way that it just gives you a career, and then there's a lot of musicians per square feet. And it reminds me slightly that with the poetry.
Actually, it's a philosophical way to live, and it's admirable what Maestro José Antonio Abreu is doing in the last 30 years, because he created the Simón Bolívar system, and in the last 30 years, they are around 300,000 musicians. So it's quite a lot of people who already became musicians, and they are find a better way to live. So music, music is a philosophic way to live. And we are talking about the languages, Spanish, French, Italian. Sometimes I will say it doesn't matter what language you could sing, because this day you go to the opera house and there is subtitles and you can really know what is going on at the same time. Then there is a libretto, so you have homework to do, that you can still read it or read where it's coming from, that opera, if it's for a movie version, if it's for a novel, from a book. But the most important thing, on top of everything, there is one common universal language, and it's music. And it doesn't matter if you sing it in different languages.
And also there is so much information now that we have through the internet. I mean, there are teachers from every single country, in every conservatory in the world, in every opera, in every concert hall. So to get so much information from all the different tendencies, that it has become much more a universal way of teaching. There's not so much the schools as it used to be before. Now you get so much information from all of them that it's very hard to actually classify people on a certain school, I would say.
Now, for you and also for you, how do you find it to be, and also Manuel,
Not for you.
not Israel. How do you find
I
it?
talk already.
How do you find it?
Where is my lawyer?
Always the question. What do you find the difference to be when you're composing or playing with other instruments, or as a soloist versus with a vocalist? How does the vocal instrument change the performance or the composition?
Well, from a compositional point of view, it's you have in mind that, of course, it's another instrument. You're composing pretty much with every instrument in mind. But when it comes to voice, there's so many things that you have to consider, and also because the voice is it's so dynamic and it changes so much. It's just a slight change in mood can make a difference with that kind of be made with an instrument. So it's just the inflection of the voice, the tone that you're using, the mood that you're using. So it's very rich to compose for it, and you need to be in collaboration with the singer, at least to be more in communication with the singer, because he's the one that is going to extract. In fact, he was just doing things today that I didn't really think about when I was composing, that he just takes the piece to a different level, which is very good.
They told me to be quiet. I pass.
For you to conduct voices, you find it very different?
Yeah, it is, because you have you have to know the limits of the human voice, It's very important that you have to meet with the singer before try to deal which kind of interpretation are you going to do. I think it's like a soloist of an instrument, a piano, a violin. You have to firstly, you have to, ¿cómo se dice acompañar? Accompany. Huh? It's not and this kind of works, it's even more difficult. In every conducting competition, the hardful part of the competition is the hardest, is the accompaniment. A soloist, a singer, because you have to.
Company, yeah.
Yeah, the accompanying. It's very very hard.
Yeah, there is so many elements that can get involved in this kind of process, and it's very hard work, and it's a lot of laboratory sections. First of all, for me, when I have to approach this kind of piece, I have to approach it as a musician, just based on the score, what is written, what is the rhythm, what the composer wanted to mean with the music, with the text, and then you have to apply to your instrument and to try, like any violinist or pianist, they need to find the fingering positions, what is the best for breathing, what if you should open, you should close, and then the third part to assimilate and to interpretate that piece from the music perception, but for the artistic and the dramatic perception, because you are saying words, you have to mean that words. So it's a lot of combination. That's why always I said it's a beautiful schizophrenic world when you perform and you try to discover things, because there are so many elements that you have to deal, and you have to make a balance with everything. And it was for me very interesting to work with two different sections from my approach, because he's a composer, he has the technical, the harmony, the structure, composition, but then he's an excellent solist pianist, so he plays Chopin, Rachmaninoff, other kind of instrument. I have to think, okay, what can I apply from his technique, from his vision, from his experience, that I can apply to the voice, because voice is monodic, it's just one line, but at the same time you could interact, because it's important for a singer to remember that we are not singing alone, we are singing with orchestra, and sometimes you are on top, sometimes the music is on top, you describe, sometimes it's just the music, sometimes it's the words, and sometimes it's the body, because silence is music, and sometimes you just express with your body. It will be very interesting if you hear a video opera and you mute and you don't want to hear anything, how the interaction of the body languages. So it's so many elements.
For us, it's fascinating as a pianist, because particularly the idea of breathing, that makes a huge difference. So we should all actually play with singers very often, because it's I mean, we can learn a lot from them. We imitate them very often, and when we work with them, then we see how we can imitate them in the best way. But I agree with what he was saying. I mean, when we accompany a singer, it's really it's always a challenge to make them shine. We have to just support them, but keeping the things together, and we can learn a lot from them.
Well, for example, the piece that you recorded today, the vocal part is very beautiful, but the piano part is very textured and very complex.
Not ugly.
No, it's just they both offer really different things and work so well together. So
yeah, one thing when I compose, especially, I like dissonances program for in theory. But one thing that I cannot tolerate much is dissonances in the voice. I mean, I can hear like a very atonal piece with instruments, especially string or the instrument, and I would be really fine with it. When I hear very dissonant music with voices, it's some kind of grabs me. I want to change. Somebody's screaming at you. So I try to do the melodic part in the voice as much as I can, and then to put some kind of my personal touch or some contemporary approach to the music with the instrument themselves.
well, throughout the Spanish-speaking world, there's a wonderful culture of folk music. How does that infuse your, creation of new music, and also relating to the Western classical tradition for all of you?
Well, I would like to point in something that it could be interesting, because even if, for example, we are singing in Spanish from some region of Spain, or especially Spanish from across the border from Latin America, is different, especially with the pronunciation. We have the Castilian accent, he has the Latino American accent, and actually the cultures are very rich, so it's completely different perception. I will say that in Spain, the concept, even the folk music, is completely different from the Venezuela. it has different influence. So in Venezuela, where is coming from originally? The from the tribes, las tribus.
Because
Indígenas también. Influencia indígena.
We have a lot of indígena.
How you say
Indigenous.
Indigenous.
Influence also some African influence. So the folk music in Venezuela, it is just in Venezuela a lot of different,
Rhythmically especially.
But in some parts, like the Miranda State, is very African rhythms with a lot of drums. If you go to the west side of Venezuela, we have the gaita, and we have also a lot of waltz. We have
from the Irish, Spanish, Galicia.
We have in Caracas, in the central part of Venezuela, we have a lot of waltzes, and the west waltzes are very different of the central waltzes. We have of course our traditional rhythm that is the joropo. The joropo is with maracas and with an harp.
We have flamenco.
It's with a short harp, menos is
smaller.
Smaller, we have it's like a guitar, but smaller also. It's the cuatro. Of course, the cuatro, it's influenced by the guitar from Spain. So, we have difference, but we have some influence for Spain. From Africa, from some Portugal's music too. From Portugal, Brazil. So, as Israel said, we speak the same.
Sorry, there's a helicopter right there.
This is Gustavo. Maybe.
Maybe this is Gustavo.
This is Gustavo
to them maybe arriving. O Plácido Domingo.
Direct flight.
Oh, Maestro James Colum, who's conducting actually this. He's here today rehearsing something.
Is she still here?
About Israel. Israel was saying. Israel. Estaba diciendo algo sobre. I don't want to sound like that.
Israel said that we speak the same language, but we have different culture and folk music. But in some part, this different music were influence each other.
It's always, when people ask me, I will say the same about the languages, like England and the United States.
Yeah.
Of course, everything has a big influence from England, but they have their unique characteristics. So that's what happens to us.
Well, you all have a lot of exciting projects coming up next. Do you want to talk a little bit about those?
What are you next?
Well, I have to come back to my country in 2 weeks. I have 3 concerts there.
Say hello.
Say hello, yeah.
Say hello. Saluda a la gente. Hola, Venezuela.
Hi, Venezuela. Then in the next year, I have some trips around the world, conducting also. But right now, this is my next goal, I will stay maybe 5 days here in LA because I didn't have time. I was saying you that I have 1 month here, but I just know from LA, from the hotel to the concert hall, and the concert hall from the hotel, and maybe this is a great opportunity.
Oh, you have any friends now?
I have new friends.
In iCadenza.
That's right.
iCadenza.com, by the way. www.icadenza.com.
At Cadenza.
iCadenza. iCadenza.
iCadenza.
iCadenza.
iPod.
Como
Yeah, iCadenza.
¿Tú tienes website? ¿Tú have website?
Sí.
What is your website?
regulomartinez.com.
Regulo Martinez. I guess everybody these days has a...
Name and family name.
I think my grandmother is thinking to have a website.
Mine also.
as well.
It's all this.
And
Yeah.
yours?
I
Lopez.
Juan Colomer.
Yeah.
Juan Colomer, okay. And mine is Israel Lozano.com.
Triple S.
With triple, not triple X, triple W.
I'm sorry.
The mine is coming.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's coming.
it's coming.
We'll wait for that. Well, thank you for watching today, and I wish you all the best in the future.
No, thank
you.
you.
We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.